Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this, the 12th day of May in the year of our Lord 2021. Today's update comes for America. We have lost our way, but the way back is easy if we just use our common sense and American pride. Americans have always been exceptional. And all you have to do is look back about 80 years to see that in action. On December 7, 1941, America was attacked at Pearl Harbor, which is what brought us into the Second World War. About 4 years later, America won that war on all fronts. But the start was iffy at best. Our armed forces were practicing with broomsticks in the place of guns because we had none, and we didn't have the military that was going to take the world by storm. It was all American exceptionalism, entrepreneurism that won the war and made us a world power. America was on top of the world. Not because of whites, not because of blacks or Mexicans or Asians or anything else, but because of Americans. Americans of all colors and from all sections of the world had come together and won for freedom and liberty. America was the strongest and the freest country in the world, and on top of that, we were setting an example of what it was to be a great country. We helped all who were in need, and it didn't matter if they were friendly to us or not. We rebuilt Germany and helped rebuild Japan, all while our economy was soaring. Over the past 20 years or so, America has gone into a period of time when being American meant that you were the bad people of the world. We were not teaching our children anymore what it meant to be American. We were teaching them that slavery was founded by America and that it was America that caused it to flourish and thrive. This is so untrue that I can't even explain how wrong our academics have been in teaching our children and our young adults that America needs to be paying reparations to the blacks for slavery. When if the truth were taught, slavery was prevalent all over the world at that time. America became a nation, and even though America had slavery for a while, we were not formed with it. Blacks in Africa sold the slaves to America. Jefferson, though he owned slaves, said it was wrong and helped get that anti-slavery thing going in America. America is also the only nation in the world to go to war with itself to get rid of slavery, and in the end of that, all the slaves were set free. Today, with the exception of the past 12 years, blacks lived alongside of whites and other Americans to work to make America a great place for all to live. Then came Obama and the demonorats. That is where all the troubles we are seeing today stemmed from. From the Democrats came the ideas of Black Lives Matter and Antifa, who have become terrorists and have been burning down America and killing Americans with their ideas that anything the Republicans or the whites are doing is racist, anything the Democrats are doing is okay. But just the opposite is true. In the 20th century, we became the industrial giant of the world, and by the 1960s was one of the few nations working to make our air cleaner through pollution controls that no other nation in the world was instituting. As America continued into the 2016 year, Donald Trump won the presidency even though all the Democrats said it would never happen. It did. And that was when the Democrats became the demons of this nation, throwing temper tantrums for the next 4 years, doing everything they could to destroy a presidency that the people voted into office just because that president was not Hillary. The demonorats showed us all in the 2016 through 2020 just how big of babies they really are. Accepting defeat was not in them anymore. So when they are defeated, they cheated to win. If it wasn't for the Democrat cheat for the White House in 2020, we would still be enjoying lower gas prices, a closed-door policy on the border now, and America that is a beacon of light to the world, and lower taxes. But because we allowed the cheat, we now have a president who really didn't win the election, hitting us all with higher taxes, an open border where terrorists are coming in, and they have been caught, and we are allowing Black Lives Matter and Antifa to terrorize our nation with no consequences at all to them. And now to remove that liberal blindfold. Yesterday I talked to one man who at 53 years of age fought against the terrorists in Portland, Oregon, and in the process ended up in the hospital with broken bones and everything else while the terrorists got away with it. I will tell you right now that the problems we are having in America stem from Obama years and has continued since because it is being allowed. People on the left talk like they are the experts in everything, putting America and patriotic Americans down as the worst criminals in history, when in fact they on the left are the ones who are allowing it all to happen and are the criminals. And America will not get better until this anarchy from the left is stopped in its tracks. Today we are too busy listening to the doomsayers and the gloomsayers telling us how bad America is and how we have to accept gays and polyamorous people and people who think that doing things that have always been wrong is now right. Let me tell you, folks, that none of this is right, never has been, and never will be. Yesterday I quoted from the Bible that said, "Be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners." And it does. Because even now, the good are staying silent for fear of being lambasted by the left, and this shouldn't happen because the left is wrong. From Isaiah 5, verses 20 and 21, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight." What we are seeing in this nation today, and increasingly in the world, are things that have always been right, but are now wrong, and things that people are being killed for, while murder, arson, riots, and other mayhem are being considered things that are not wrong. Yet they are still so wrong that I cannot bring myself to saying they are right, because they are not. The media is complicit in reporting riots as mostly peaceful, and we have politicians telling us, like, where does it say that we have to be peaceful when protesting? And no one is telling the morons that say that it says so in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights. You have the right to peacefully protest, are the words. 7 words that I guess are too many and too complicated to comprehend for this politician who asks that stupid question. But the problem that America is having is that these kinds of things are being allowed. It was allowed for Biden to be cheated into the White House when he didn't win the election. It was allowed for the so-called gentle giant to be used to destroy the livelihood of a Ferguson, Missouri police officer who did nothing but follow the law. In our society today, it is wrong if a white police officer kills a black man who is being a criminal and even threatening the police, but no one talks about how more blacks are killed by blacks. That is not an issue. The only issue that is talked about is another black is killed by a white police officer with no explanation about what really happened here. Derek Chauvin did not get a fair trial because Black Lives Matter and Antifa threatened to burn down our cities if the verdict was not guilty. Maxine Waters, who should have known better but didn't, came in and said the same thing. If you think the jury didn't hear these things, you are wrong, because of course they did. They were never sequestered. America is now on the road to oblivion because we are allowing what is wrong to be considered right. And when someone does stand up for what is right, he gets put in the hospital because no one else will stand with him. We have liberal politicians who want to have things in their states locked down, even though the pandemic is not a pandemic, but a plandemic that is there only for the control over the people. commercials always tout unscientific stuff, using children to make us feel guilty for not wanting to believe the lies told to us about the Chinese coronavirus that is really no more dangerous to us than a cold, and in some, no more dangerous than a severe cold. Fewer than 1% of the people die from it, yet we are allowing the fraudulent Dr. Fauci to tell us that we have to be vaccinated with a vaccine that, in the emergency use authorization of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine paper that was revised on April 6, 2021, says, and I quote, "The Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine is a vaccine that may prevent you from getting COVID-19. There is no U.S. Food and Drug Administration or FDA-approved vaccine to prevent COVID-19. At the end of it, it says, what is the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine is an unapproved vaccine that may prevent COVID-19. There is no FDA-approved vaccine to prevent COVID-19. And yet we are supposed to blindly take it? Bullcrap. Not until it is approved by the FDA. The lies have to stop, folks, because they are doing nothing but destroying our lives and our country. And sadly, it is being allowed. Too few are fighting back. And until we fight back as a nation, this nation will continue to get worse and worse. Heaven help us. Thank you again for listening to us here at NWCR, where we strive hard to tell the truth that is hidden by the lamestream media. I will always say, we will not be ruled. We are heard through Conservative Nation Media, or CNM, from behind the silver microphone of freedom with that voice of reason in this increasingly unreasonable world where America always wins. Please subscribe to my Rumble account under the name of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold and my BitChute account with the same name. Subscribe because I am being shadow banned on Facebook and YouTube. Today's update is brought to you through CNM, and we will be here again tomorrow for the next bit of truth you will never hear in the lamestream lying media or from the Democrats. See you tomorrow, and God bless you all.